Got it to Besser in front, backhander scores! The puck back in. Campoli trying to clear it. Burrows is quick. Got the puck loose to Edwards. Back in for Alex Burrows. It's up in the air. Now McKinnon the side. No! With the left glove! Are you kidding me? What a save!
Hey, Canucks Nation, Brandon Alston here, play-by-play for the Edmonton Canucks. You've got it locked in the line change, the Vancouver Canucks podcast.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Line Change. We have a very special guest joining us today. But before I introduce our guest, I want to let you guys know your ways to get involved with the show here today. Whoops. You can like the video, subscribe, hit us up with a super chat, buy a membership, upgrade your membership, and you can also use your monthly membership message. But let's introduce our guest. He is a reporter / photographer for Abby News. He's also a contributor at Slam Wrestling. Please welcome Ben Lykpa.
Hey, Tyler, how's it going?
How's it going, Ben?
Good. Thanks for the invite. I like the hat today. Right.
Yeah, I specifically wore this one today because I knew I had you coming on. I don't know if you can see it in the background, but I kind of moved my NXT championship so it was at least in view.
Oh, okay. So you're a wrestling guy too?
Yeah, not as much as I used to be, but I still tune in here and there. But
good stuff.
Welcome to the show. For those of you that may not know who you are, introduce yourself. Let us know what it is that you do, and we'll go from there.
Sure, yeah. My name's Ben Lykpa, like you said, with that great intro. I've been a reporter in Abbotsford now for the Abbotsford News since 2015. I've been in the industry since 2010, so I don't feel old, but I'm getting up there now. So I've been just past 16 years as a reporter, and I've primarily covered sports, but journalism today, you have to cover everything. Like I cover elections, I cover community events. But obviously, since the Canucks have come here in 2021, I've developed a little bit of a following, a lot more fans. There's just a lot of interest about this team in general. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I try to go to as many games as I can as a reporter. Like I've been in person. I was there for the entire Calder Cup playoff run. Unfortunately, just with my schedule, I try and go to at least maybe a game a week or a game every few weeks, but I watch every game on TV that I'm not there. It's just this team coming here has been really great for my career. Obviously, it's been a lot of fun. That's kind of been the dream out of journalism school is I wanted to be a sports reporter, but I wanted to, be able to dive into like a team, a professional team, cover them, watch all the games and just report on everything they do. And yeah, since 2021, I've been able to do that. So that's been a lot of fun. And the fans, just the interest, like it justifies our coverage. So I love it. And I love that they're here.
Yeah. Awesome. What are your, obviously we'll get into Manny Malhotra, but I just want to get your impressions of what you've heard from Ryan Johnson, the Sedins, and Manny Malhotra since they were introduced as this new regime for the Canucks.
From the Vancouver point of view?
Yeah.
Well, the Sedins, it's interesting. Like being in Abbotsford, you saw them a lot. Like I don't know if people realize like how often they were there. Like I would go to practices, they would be there. You'd be walking around the building, you'd see them. They'd be in the press box. They'd just be, they were present all the time. I could never tell which one's which. That's just still hard. I still don't know, but they were always there, right? And Ryan Johnson, kind of the same thing. He was always there. So far, so good, I guess. I mean, and I've talked about this to other people too. Like Vancouver is at rock bottom right now. Like they're the worst team in the NHL. They had a horrible season. The team blew up. So for Ryan, I think it's like you can only go up from here, hopefully, right? The Sedins, it's hard to say. They haven't really done a whole lot yet. They hired Manny, obviously. But I do think, there was some change. Some change was needed. I mean, Rutherford and Alvin, you can't have a season like that. And that's what I know a lot of people are saying. They're just going to bring everyone back. But like Vancouver, you can't finish 32nd and to have just bring everybody back and pretend like everything's okay. I was a little surprised they got rid of Adam Foote. Just because, I mean, I think he kind of got a bit of a raw deal. The roster was terrible, right? Like that was not a very good roster. And I thought they'd let him, remain as head coach for a few months and then see how the start of the season goes. So, but I get getting rid of Foote. He wasn't a very good coach either. So, but I do feel he got a bit of a raw deal. But it remains to be seen how they're going to do. I mean, Ryan Johnson obviously had the success in 2025 with the Calder Cup, but this past year, there were some kind of questionable decisions that he made. Like, for example, he let Tristan Nielsen, walk. And I don't know if you're following the AHL playoffs, but he's been a really important piece for Colorado. He scored, I think, 10 or 11 goals in the playoffs, just in the playoffs alone. Wow. So, and he actually played for the Avalanche too during the regular season. So he made the NHL. So somehow he made the Avalanche, but he could never make the Canucks. I thought that was kind of interesting. Never played an NHL game for Vancouver, but made it in Colorado. He also, Christian Wolanin was another guy who they just let walk for some reason. And he won the Defenseman of the Year in the AHL. So, yeah, he wasn't a perfect general manager even though he won the Calder Cup. He did, everything worked out that year, but this past year, it wasn't successful for Abbotsford. So he's unproven. So I guess we'll see how he does. But like I said, he's coming in, you can't get much worse. So I think it's an ideal situation for him to enter.
Yeah, for sure. Moving towards Manny a little bit, but and sticking with the Vancouver side of things, why do you think Manny is the right choice at the right time for the Canucks as head coach? Or is it the right time?
I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. I don't know if he's the right coach at the right time. To be honest, I'm a little surprised. I don't know why, if I'm Manny, I don't know why I want this job that much. At this point, anyway. I mean, the Canucks are going to suck for at least the next 2 or 3 seasons. So I guess he kind of has it built in, he has that built into the job already. But yeah, I don't think it's a job that a lot of people were that excited about. So hopefully he got what he wanted out of this deal. I know it's a 3-year deal apparently. But no, all my dealings with him have been really good. He's excellent with the media. I was joking with an Abbotsford Canucks person. It's almost I'm sure you saw his press conference and you saw Brian's press conference. It's almost like they give such detailed, long answers. It's almost it's kind of hard to pick what you want to put in your story. What exactly did he say here? Just because they explain things really well. And it's really long answers. And but I think he's a motivator. He definitely even though Abbotsford had a rough year, you didn't hear a lot of complaints about inside the dressing room or people unhappy about playing time or that type. There's very little drama. So I think he's good at managing personalities. And just, yeah, I think the guys like playing for him too. Every player I've talked to has pretty much said, praised Manny and just the way he treats players. He's also a younger guy. So he's not that far removed from the game. His son plays in the game too. So I think he kind of relates to the younger guys too. As far as his systems go, I've always liked the way his teams forecheck. Even when they had no talent down here in Abbotsford, they would use some of these guys from the ECHL, and the way they forecheck, they would be inserted right into Manny's roster, and you could tell they knew what they were doing. They didn't look lost out there. And same thing with, for example, the guys they added at the end of the year this year, some of the college players, whatever Manny's system is, they seem to like playing it. It's fun, first of all, and they can fit in and it just seems to be a good fit. So yeah, as his forechecking, I like his special teams, the power play especially was both years here in Abbotsford was pretty good. And even this past year, they had, there wasn't a lot of scoring on this roster. There wasn't a lot of talent on this roster, and it was still in the top half of the AHL. So he knows how to work the power play. Now the PK was a bit worse this year. But so if he can bring some of that stuff from Abbotsford to Vancouver, if he can transfer some of that knowledge, I think he should be fine. And it's the same thing with Ryan. It's rock bottom for the Canucks, right? So Manny, as long as you have small incremental improvements every year, I think he'll be fine. I just think it depends on the patience of the owner too. That's the thing that we have to consider, because maybe that he doesn't like losing a lot. But I think, I think Manny should be fine. I like the hiring. But selfishly, I kind of wanted him to last a little bit longer here in Abbotsford, just because I enjoyed dealing with him, and his teams were interesting to watch most nights. So I'm going to miss him from that point of view. But I think it should be an upgrade from Adam Foote. It's just I don't know. I don't expect it to be like they're not going to be like a Stanley Cup contender anytime soon. So I think it might be a slow build, but he's definitely got the brain to excel, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And I totally get, wanting to keep Manny down in Abbey. I imagine a lot of Abbotsford fans are like, gosh, wish. But speaking of Abbotsford, as you actually answered one of my other questions about what stood out about Manny.
Yeah.
Diving more into Abbotsford, obviously Abbotsford is looking for a new head coach. Are there any names that intrigue you that could be the next head coach?
To be honest, not really. I haven't really. I know there's been a few people rumored, like the coach from Seattle, the female.
Mm-hmm.
I just honestly, I don't know a whole lot about them. And there was the guy that Dollywall floated yesterday, who's the former AJHL coach. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. Neiman or something. Like he's got a long name.
Yeah. Papa, or something like that.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting that he started in the AJ and he went to the ECHL. And it's kind of interesting that Pittsburgh actually signed him. So there's the Vancouver organization likes the Pittsburgh organization. I could see them being interested in this guy, and he was the Wheeling coach. So yeah, but honestly, I've heard nothing about who they're hiring. I think they're so busy with draft stuff, and they're so busy with they just both of these guys have only been on the job for a few weeks or a month or whatever. So, I'm expecting something should be happening pretty soon though, just because you want to have a coach and a GM in place by July 1st, I would think, because how are you selling, especially if you're trying to sign AHL guys? How are you going to get a player to sign here without knowing who the coach is going to be? So, so I think hopefully in the next few weeks, I have not heard anything about who they're interested in, because I think it's all draft stuff right now. I know they were just the combine too. So, but I think in the next few weeks here, it's going to heat up, and they need to have someone in place, or need to have at least a GM, I would think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I actually was doing a little research earlier, and I heard Jim Hiller's name, who was just fired by the Kings. So, I don't know how I feel about that one.
No, I don't think he would be a good fit. I know he used to be. He was actually the original head coach for the Chilliwack Bruins back in the day. So he has a Fraser Valley connection, kind of. But I don't think that he would be the best hire personally. I think you need someone a bit younger, someone who's closer in age range to Manny and who can work under Manny. And that's why the guy that from the AJ, I think fits, because I think he's in his 40s also. So I think he might be a better fit, but I don't know a lot about him.
Yeah, I did a little bit of digging on him just from an article. Actually, I have an article here that talks about him from our friends over at Daily Hive.
Oh, Trevor, yeah.
Trevor Baggs, good buddy of mine. He says he's apparently won a championship at each of the levels he's coached at.
Yeah, so he was a coach of the Brooks Bandits, who were pretty much a dynasty in the AJHL for a while, and they've now in the BCHL, but they still have. I think they won the BCHL title this past year. So, yeah, it's a great organization. And yeah, he's 42, as the article mentions, and he's worked with Cale Makar, because Cale was drafted out of Brooks. So he knows how to deal with high end prospects, obviously, and and he has some pro experience, which is good, and junior experience. So yeah, I think someone like that would be pretty good. But yeah, other than that, it's probably someone we've never heard of, I would guess, that they're going to hire, and someone who's not that expensive either, because that's another issue, because they're also paying Adam Foote. So yeah, it's going to be someone probably inexpensive, but which I don't have a problem with. I think giving a chance on someone new and young would be good.
Yeah, that was another.
Papai now or something. That's his name.
Papai now, yeah. Try and say that 3 times fast.
Yeah. I the only problem with that is I don't want to spell that every time I write his name in the story. That would be tough.
Yeah. But shifting from head coach to GM, because we touched on, they need a GM too. Obviously, we've heard Emilie Castonguay's name. We've actually, I think it was kind of rumored that Jessica Campbell could be a candidate for GM, not just head coach, but GM. Do you think the Canucks bring in someone from the outside, or do you think it'll be another internal hire?
Yeah, my first thought when I heard about when I heard of those rumors, I could totally see Cami Granato or Castonguay just shifting over to Abbotsford. They've worked with Ryan Johnson for a few years. I know Castonguay especially. They both were, but Castonguay she was at a lot of Abbotsford games. I noticed her at a lot of Abbotsford games in the press box or in the private box. So yeah, and again, it comes down to the financial. So then they don't have to hire someone. They don't have to pay someone else to do this job. So they already have someone under contract. So my guess would be, someone's going to get transferred. And then if they need another assistant GM, it could be someone young and cheap, a newer person. But yeah, that's what my initial guess was. And yeah, I mean, it's similar. I haven't heard a whole lot about what they're doing as far as that goes either. But Ryan Johnson did tell me he's going to hire the GM first, and the GM will get to hire the coach. So yeah, I said, I would guess it's someone that they already know and have worked with in the past. So I think one of the two existing AGMs would probably that'd be my guess, but we'll see.
Definitely. I mean, I'll get into this too, because obviously it was announced, what was it, yesterday or today, that Patrick Allvin is joining the Kraken. So we could kind of do a little trade with, for Campbell at that point. But obviously, speaking of Allvin, obviously that's great for him that, he's got himself a gig and it's, just down the highway. But I couldn't help but notice his little shot towards the Canucks about the practice facility, which you kind of expect when you do not have one. Yeah, he did a little shot towards the Canucks about it, just praising their practice facility. So I thought it was pretty tongue in cheek. I think they talked about it on Donnie and Dolly. That what do you expect when you don't have one? You're going to be the butt end of jokes.
To be honest, I don't think Allvin, I thought he got a bit of a bad rap. We don't know how much, how much freedom did he have to actually make moves? It felt like Rutherford was breathing down his neck a lot of these moves. Rutherford did the Quinn Hughes trade, for example. What else did Rutherford do? So, and some of the moves that Allvin was behind, his drafting seems not bad so far. And some of his trades were pretty good. And he also managed to, when they had a mistake, they got off their mistakes pretty good. So I think, away from the shadow of Rutherford, he might be a solid assistant GM. But that's funny that he took all those shots, because we talked about this before, but the Canucks and the Kraken have their prospect showcase going on.
Yeah.
In September, I believe. They haven't announced the dates yet. So maybe I kind of want that to become a rivalry. Let's get the Seattle-Vancouver rivalry going here, and maybe we hire their AGM and we can get some bad blood going on. Why not?
Yeah, that would be the perfect move. And I'm glad you brought up the prospect showcase, because I have that here too that I'm just going to quickly bring up.
Yeah, that's going to be they haven't confirmed the dates. They haven't confirmed the dates yet, but it feels like a lot of people have forgotten about that this event's happening. This was the thing that replaced the Young Stars, right? So it's going to be fun. I know last year it was kind of early September, around the first weekend in September. They haven't confirmed any dates yet, but I guess it's around that same spot. And I guess there's going to be maybe a few games, and then there'll be practices and stuff. So it's going to be are you going to? I can see a lot of Vancouver fans coming out here for that. Would that be something you'd be interested in going to check out?
Yeah, definitely. I've been actually meaning to try and trek out to Abbotsford for a game. Obviously, you saw from the intro, I'm friends with Brandon Astle, so I would love to, go hang out with him. I've been wanting to go check out the Rogers Forum, that is called now, right?
You better get that right. Yeah, you better get that. It's not the Abbotsford Center.
Yeah, I've been dying to go out there for some time now. I wasn't able to this past season, but it's on the list for this upcoming season to at least go check out a game, pick myself up a Abbey jersey to go with the hat. But
there's lots of tickets available. From what I'm hearing, there's lots of tickets available. So it shouldn't be a problem to find seats. But this is going to be this should be a fun event. I think last year they announced the dates and details and everything pretty much after the draft. So for fans out there, shortly after the draft, you're going to get all the schedule and what the dates and stuff are going to be for this thing. But yeah, it's going to be fun. The Rogers Forum, not the Abbotsford Center. It's a great place to watch a game. Like that's one thing. Like I joke about the ticket sales, but there's not really a bad seat in the building. The scoreboard was recently upgraded, so yeah, and I think they just got some new seats in there also. So it's a great AHL building. It's a great place to watch a game, and that whole tournament, that thing's going to be interesting to see how it's set up because we've never had anything like that here. Like we've had training camp here before, Vancouver Canucks training camp, but this is kind of and then this is it's a 2-year deal. This tournament. With Seattle, so then it's done after this year. So we'll see. Are they going to extend this, or are they going to do something different now? Like it was nice to have the Alberta teams and have Winnipeg involved too. But yeah, so we'll see what happens after that.
Yeah, you were talking about like the rivalry. Maybe this can stir up a little bit of a rivalry between the Canucks and the Kraken. I would be totally interested to actually check this out if I could once we get more information. Especially with the prospects that we have, like Braden Coots, obviously instantly comes to mind, getting the chance to see him.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe whoever we end up drafting in this year's draft might make an appearance.
I think they would. Yeah. I think they probably would be there. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Braden Coots is going to be, and I'm not sure if you're aware, but the new rule where the 19-year-old first round pick can play in the AHL. One thing I want to stress is I hope that's the case here in Abbotsford. Like I think Coots, unless he like completely wows the team in training camp or something, like I think he should be an Abbotsford guy for a season. Like sell tickets, build this guy up as a star, get people to come out and watch him play. He's gonna be a Canuck, Vancouver Canuck at whenever. Like he has a lot of years to do that. So I think 1 year in the AHL, and he can always go up and down too. Like he can get called up, but like I would like to see him stay in the AHL for 1 year and see how that goes, and then go from there. And then he can spend the rest of his career in Vancouver, but just give us 1 year in Abbotsford. And because like I said, I think he'd be a good ticket draw, and it'd be fun. Like you get the fans out here, you watch these guys develop in Abbotsford, and then you follow them out to Vancouver. So I think he'd be the perfect guy to use that rule on for this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree 100%. I think he should start out in Abbey. I think that's a good spot for him. And hey, who knows if he does start on Abbey, I already know what jersey I'm going to get when I head out to Abbey. I'll get a Coots one.
You don't want a Danila Klimovich one?
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind one of his or Chase Waters.
I'll
have lots of choices. But
and I mentioned Klimovich just because that's the other big thing. Like this new GM, whoever it is, they do have some decisions to make in Abbotsford. Now maybe Ryan Johnson's going to make these decisions too, but there are a few guys. Like Klimovich is one of the guys. They have to make it. Like he's been in Abbotsford for 5 years now, so they have to make a decision on him. His contract's up. He's an RFA. Like there were rumors that were shot down that he was going to go to Russia. So, but the guy can score. Like he has offensive talent. Like he scored 18 goals in the AHL. He scored 25, I think, the year before. He has been through a lot of coaches. He's not the best defensively, but he's got so much offensive skill. And I know a lot of Canucks fans just kind of want to cut ties with him, but just the lack of offensive talent that Vancouver has and Abbotsford has, like I kind of want to keep this guy. And there's a few other players that whoever the new GM is going to have to make some decisions on, like Joe LeBate's another guy He's a UFA. He barely played this past year for Abbotsford. You have Nils Amon. I'm not sure what's going on with him. I don't know if he's a guy that they want to keep. Like, do you want to keep a roster spot for Nils Amon? I don't know. He's not really good enough for the NHL. He's kind of like right in between. Chase Stillman's another guy that has a contract up. So, yeah, there's some decisions. Brisebois, he's up. Guillaume Brisebois, so and Jack Thompson, who had a good end of the season. So yeah, so and it's interesting because some of these AHL teams they're signing guys right now, so that activity is going on right now. So are they missing out on by not having a GM and everything that Ryan Johnson's doing? I guess we'll find out. But yeah, so I think the roster for Abbotsford anyway next year is going to be extremely young, and which I don't mind. I think that could be kind of fun. But yeah, they have a lot of decisions to make here in early July.
Yeah, definitely. Going back to the draft, obviously we talked about Manny. You mentioned he has a son, Caleb. Obviously, that seems to be all that Canuck fans are talking about nowadays is Caleb, Caleb. Yeah. I just want to get, where do you stand on the whole Manny-Caleb dynamic or situation?
You know, it's funny. I saw Caleb, play in the BCHL. I covered a few Chilliwack Chiefs games in the past. So, and this was when he was really young. This was last year. And yeah, he's someone who like even as a 15-year-old, he stood out, and he has the size. He can skate. He's talented. He's smart. There's a reason why we've never seen a dad coach his son in the NHL. I think that's never happened before. I think they could probably make it work, but why would you want to risk that? I don't know. That's just, I don't like that idea. And if Stenberg's available, I think at 3, I would take Stenberg immediately. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if he's going to be available. I'm not sure. I've watched a lot of Chase Reed highlights, and I love his game too. I think he'd be a great pick at number 3. And I know people say, we already have, the Vancouver has enough defensemen. I don't think you're going to ever have enough quality defensemen. So it would not be a bad pick at all, in my opinion, to pick Chase Reed. He's got a lot of offensive talent. He's actually pretty big too. He's got some size. So yeah, he'd be someone I think they might regret not taking if they take Caleb over him. Just because the other thing that I think Canucks fans have to realize is a lot of times, I know they all love the guys they have now. In 5 years, you're not keeping all of these guys. You're not keeping every single guy that's on the roster now. You're going to lose some of them eventually, and you need other defensemen, obviously. So when you're picking at number 3, I don't know. You have to get a stud at number 3, or that's such a waste if they just. So I think Caleb's going to be a good player, and he's everyone I've talked to said he's a really, really mature. He's like Manny, right? He has a good head on his shoulders, but at number 3, I don't think it's worth it to risk any sort of tension or weirdness by having a father and a son coach each other. Why did the Canucks always do this type of weird stuff? It reminds me of when Luongo was made the captain. It's there's a reason why a goalie's never been a captain, and there's a reason why there's never been a father and son coaching each other. It's just it's weird. I don't know, why would you want to do that? So that being said, I can totally see them just taking Caleb, and then yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me for them to take Caleb. Would I do it? No, I wouldn't do it. If you have Manny as your coach, there's no point in risking it. There's other players who are who will be as good as Caleb probably. I just wouldn't risk it. Just take somebody else.
Yeah, totally.
What would you do?
Totally.
What do you think?
I mean, I'm really high on Caleb.
Okay.
Just because based on the type of player, I'm not too concerned about the whole Manny Caleb dynamic, even though we've endured quite a bit of drama over the last few years, and we need to nip that in the butt.
Yeah.
But I'm also high on Stenberg too. So yeah, like you said, if Stenberg drops to 3, you sprint to the podium. Yes. You're Ivar Stenberg.
Yeah.
But I really do like Caleb, and I've liked Caleb since probably November, December.
Yeah.
I've been kind of watching him a lot. And again, I'm not too bothered by the whole father-son thing. I know they kind of did it a little bit in Where was it?
Winnipeg,
Was
right?
it Winnipeg?
Yeah,
But it
yeah,
didn't work out really all that well. But
yeah,
it's like what you said about Manny and Caleb. They both got good heads on their shoulders. But I also just found out recently that while they're both saying the right things, to the media, apparently both of them are a little bit queasy about the situation. Like they're not 100% on board.
yeah.
So
Yeah, like
there's
I think I see like Manny will be able to handle it fine. But if you're Caleb, like, do you really want to go to a team where your dad's the coach? Like, I don't know if that's like you're kind of putting him at a disadvantage. If I'm Caleb, I'd be like, I don't know. Do you want your dad? I wouldn't want my dad to coach me. I want to do my own thing. I don't want to. Yeah, and so I don't know. I can see why the Canucks would want to pick him. I guess he's probably the best center available, but. Yeah, I mean, the other thing that kind of worries me a bit is like you have Braden Coots already, like who's, I don't know, they seem like they could be almost the same slot on the roster. So I don't know. I just, for what the Canucks, it's not like they need talent anywhere. So it's not like center is that much more of a need than all the other positions, but we'll see what they do. But personally, I would avoid that headache if I could.
Yeah, totally. And like I said, less drama. Rutherford, Albion are gone. Let's end the drama here. We've already endured 50 plus years of like drama misery. I actually wrote an article about that. It's not published, but talking about 50 plus years of like misery going all the way back to the 70s. See if I can maybe get that published somewhere. I'm actually quite proud of it. I just winged it, just put passion into it, wrote it. Let's see if I have anything else here. What are your thoughts on maybe their 24th overall? And there's been talk about the Ruck Twins, them possibly liking the Ruck Twins.
Like, to be honest, I'm not like outside of the top 10. I'm not really a huge prospects guy or a draft guy. I mean, the Ruck Twins, I guess that'd be an interesting story, but I don't know. I would be okay with trying to use that 24 pick and move up somehow, like package it. Like, I'm not crazy about keeping that pick. If they can move up and like to anywhere else in the draft, like top 10 or whatever, package that with DeBrusque or someone and try and use that pick to move up. I'd like to see them try and do that possibly, but at that in that range of the draft, I couldn't really tell you. To be honest, I'm not really following it that deeply. So
yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Although I have obviously heard a lot about the Rucks. I was pretty high on them. Yeah. I think it was back in December, but I've kind of cooled off on them a little bit. But I know they're interested. I saw they took didn't take them out to dinner, but they have said they're very high on both of them. There is a chance that they could get them at 24 and maybe 33. Yeah. I think it was Cam Robinson did his little consensus board where he had Liam at 24 and then he had Marcus at 33. I do think, like you said, it would be a feel-good story, a pair of twins, and then we just named Henrik and Daniel as co-pohos. So it would be a good feel-good story. And I'll admit, this year's draft, I'm so pumped for, just, based off, Caleb and McKenna, Stenberg. I think I'm more excited about this year's draft than last year. I hardly did any videos about last year's draft. Yeah. Then this year, I think I've done like 30 plus. Wow. I guess this is the most exciting since 99. Yeah, at least from a Canucks standpoint.
Exactly. Because the Canucks actually have some picks, which is usually never happens. They're usually gone by now. The one thing I'd be concerned about with the Rucks though is, they have good numbers, but like you have to look at those. Like a lot of the best players now don't even play in the major juniors. So, and they're 18-year-olds now. Like how, I don't know. I would not fall in love with a guy's stats in the CHL, especially now. Like the competition isn't as good. A lot of the best players are now in the NCAA. So that kind of worries me a little bit. These guys who put up huge numbers in the dub and without kind of out of nowhere too. So I don't know. But I mean, it would be a pretty fun story. But personally, I'd rather use that 24 pick and try and move up and do something else with it if you can. That'd be my suggestion.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm glad you brought up DeBrusque because obviously coming out today, it looks like, might be something there with the Senators. I saw today, Senators might be interested in DeBrusque. We've obviously heard, Oilers might be interested in Jake. Do you actually see a point where DeBrusque actually is on a different team by the start of the season?
By the start of the season? Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I could see that happening. I just don't know, what does Vancouver want for DeBrusque? Yeah. That's the thing. So for example, if it's something where like a draft day deal where you move DeBrusque and try and move up in the draft or maybe get a first next year or something, I would totally do something like that. Yeah, that would be and I know like a lot of people talk about Hronik too, if he's available. Like he's got the most value. So if you can somehow convince him to waive his no movement clause, then he could fetch a lot. DeBrusque, honestly, I don't know what you'd get in return for him. I mean, he scores. He's a solid scorer, but yeah, if you could move up in the draft, I would totally do that. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've heard rumored if we were to trade DeBrusque, it'd probably be a lot similar to what we got for Garland, like a second or a third round pick.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe even if you wanted to not necessarily focus on this year's draft, but next year's draft, get a couple picks for next year. That could work. And then also we've been hearing about Gallagher recently as well.
Yeah. Brendan Gallagher, I remember because I grew up in Tsawwassen and Ladner. So I knew his dad was like the trainer with the Vancouver Giants back in the day. And it's funny, speaking at the start about how I feel old. I remember little Brendan running around the rink and stuff like that and in the gym. So he'd be awesome. He'd be such a good fit for Vancouver. I think that's someone they have to try and acquire. Just like the Canucks need that type of character on their team. They need someone who should just a hard worker and someone who, with experience, a little bit of experience, and he plays kind of a harder game too. So I would love him. He'd be a great addition for the Canucks. I think they should totally try and get him. And then as far as DeBrusque though, I like I said, I would be okay with moving him. I wonder what they're going to do in free agency too. That's the other thing. Cause you need to I mean, a lot of people don't like DeBrusque, but he produced some offense. So where's the rest? Where's this offense going to come from now? If you move DeBrusque, like the team can't just bottom out offensively under Manny. But I guess we'll see. But yeah, I would trade him to move up, definitely.
Yeah. There's been, I don't think they're going to be too crazy when it comes to free agency. Obviously, we know this year's class is not all that great.
Yeah.
But I have heard, floated around, and I did a video on it, bringing back Kuzmenko. Maybe that could be one thing because he's a UFA. Obviously, we saw McCarron re-signed with the Wild. He could have been a target, to get a bit tougher. That's obviously gone now with Minnesota re-signing him. But I 100% agree with you on Gallagher. I've been a big fan of Gallagher since his Giant days. I actually was a season ticket holder when the Giants were in Vancouver. Yeah. Unfortunately, they, moved to Langley, and I was like, there goes that. But no, I absolutely loved watching Gallagher play, and he was so exciting to watch, especially one of those games at the Coliseum. It was fun. It was exciting. Yeah. And he's definitely someone who I hope they do try and do something. I know they've talked to his agent and shown their interest, that they are interested in acquiring him. So, and I don't think it'll take too much to get him. Hopefully. I think Montreal would either have to retain, or they would sweeten the deal with like maybe a draft pick, and if you do this before the draft, you could add another pick, make that 11 picks instead of 10, or as I said earlier, you could maybe do like a pick for next year. And then I also threw out a trade proposal. Obviously we've heard, Niels Höglander maybe he might be the odd man out. Maybe you package Höglander for Gallagher, and then, Montreal gets a young winger who's still only 25. And don't get me wrong, I love Höglander too, but I think it's time to move on from him, and I think that could do it.
I think Höglander might be looking at real estate in Abbotsford. I don't know. I don't think he's gonna be. Yeah, I don't. I can't imagine Montreal would have any interest in him. To be honest, I think he's like his numbers were horrendous last year, and on the worst team in the league. So I'm not sure. And his salary is like $3 million for like. It's like that's salary has not aged well. So I think he has pretty much zero value. So I don't think Montreal would want to do that. But just circling back to the draft, like the one thing, what are the possibilities you think, because you've been following it probably a bit closer than me, of McKenna actually falling to 3? Just because I saw like, I'm kind of a numbers guy, and I was looking at the combine. Like the guy weighed in at 170 pounds in the combine. Like I think that's a little concerning. If I'm a team, like if I'm Toronto, like I think Vancouver's got to be kind of like secretly happy about that, because like I think there's some bust potential with McKenna. Like he's 170. Like that's like Lekharamaki's size, and we know Lekharamaki's struggled in the NHL big time. So I'm wondering, like, what if McKenna slips, like maybe the Leafs pick Stenberg first, and then, whatever else happened, maybe the Sharks take a defenseman. Like, I think I'd probably pick McKenna, but I honestly have some concerns about him, just because like that size, like, is not great for a first overall pick. Like for first overall pick, you need a stud. He's $170. Like I'd be a little concerned if I'm Toronto.
Yeah, definitely. And as far as, him dropping, I mean, that's a dream. Like I've done a couple of videos, and I'm like, it's still possible, especially when we were the only team that took him out to dinner, which ended up being nothing. I was like, maybe there's still a little bit of glimmer of hope, but yeah, you're right. That could be a scenario where, Stenberg could go 1, plus you have the Matt Sundin connection in Toronto, the Swedish thing. And then, San Jose could take a defenseman, although I do feel as though they're throwing a lot of smoke screen out there. They may end up still taking Stenberg after all. But if they were to pick, say, Chase Reed, that would drop McKenna to 3. And again, just like with Stenberg, if McKenna's available, you run to the podium and be like, McKenna.
Okay, so you like McKenna more than Malhotra if they're both there?
Well, yeah, if it's between Stenberg and Malhotra, I'm picking Stenberg. If it's between McKenna, Malhotra, it's McKenna.
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah, interesting. Yep.
Yeah. How much more time do you have? Just so
15 minutes.
All right. Well, I'll save this question for the end. But since you are a contributor at Slam Wrestling, and I happen to be a bit of a wrestling fan, we'll talk a little bit of wrestling. Your thoughts on everything that's going on right now? At least when it comes, I watch both AEW and actually AEW, WWE, and TNA. I'm more into WWE and TNA than I am AEW.
Okay.
And I'm more of an NXT guy too. So I primarily watch, NXT. Your thoughts on everything going on right now?
Yeah. How much time do you have? No. I'm actually more of like since WrestleMania anyway, I've kind of fallen off with WWE a little bit. And like AEW had their big show, like they had a show here in April. I went to that. I covered that as media. So that was a lot of fun. And I'm more of a sicko, as Tony Khan would like to say. I'm kind of more of an AEW guy. So with WWE, and especially now with all the hockey playoffs, the NBA playoffs, like I've completely fallen off with WWE. I'm still reading like results and looking at highlights and stuff like that. But I know like it's strange to me that CM Punk's just disappeared. Like, I think because I'm a pretty big CM Punk fan, and I've enjoyed a lot of the stuff he's done, and he's just gone for like 2 months. It's interesting that they're pushing Obafemi, which I think is a pretty good decision, but then they had him lose to Brock so shortly after winning. I didn't really understand that decision. But yeah, and NXT, like I used to be a huge NXT guy, but I don't know. I can't really watch it anymore. I find they're all pretty green wrestlers, and the promos, like just the acting and stuff, is just, I don't know. It's kind of I find it tough to watch. So I haven't really watched a whole lot of NXT, but and TNA now too is just. Do you watch TNA? You still watch it?
I try and watch a little bit
Yeah.
if I can. Yeah, usually just highlights. Usually.
Yeah, like I tried to watch last week's show and I thought it was pretty bad. Like I don't know. They seem to be losing a lot of talent, and but yeah, AEW's been pretty solid. Like I'm more of an in-ring guy, so their match quality, like every week, like the weekly show for AEW. I usually only watch Dynamite. I don't really watch Collision, but I'll watch Dynamite every week, and just like the in-ring quality that you get every week is just like insane to me. Like you don't see that in WWE. Like very rarely do you get that quality matches, and yeah, like I'm a big MJF fan. He's the man. And I really like what Christian's been doing, like the Edge and Christian run, like with them reuniting. And I wish they would have won here. That would have been fun.
Yeah.
But they lost, so that was kind of a bummer. But yeah, like Christian, like pretty much everything Christian does cracks me up. Like he's still basically a bad guy, and he's still, I don't know, he just kills me. He's the best. Yeah. Christian's the man. But yeah, I'm more so liking a lot of what AEW is doing. And yeah, I mean, what was the match last night? They had Swerve and Brody King. Like that was an amazing match. I really like what AEW has been doing with Andrade too. Mm-hmm. Like he's way better. He's being booked way better in AEW, and he's like showing a lot more personality. In WWE, he was just kind of like a nobody. I don't know. They didn't really treat him that well. And some of the young talent I really like in AEW, like people like Kevin Knight, the Jet. I'm liking what he's been doing. Kyle Fletcher is just super fun to watch. So yeah, I kind of gravitate more towards AEW. I still like a lot of the talent in WWE, but just as far as like just being entertained and like good matches and stuff like that, like I just think AEW is way more consistent, and just like if I'm sitting down for 2 hours, like I don't have a ton of time to watch some of these 3 hour like SmackDowns, like 3 hours every week now, which is insane to me. I can't make it through a 3 hour show every week. Like it's ridiculous. So yeah, so I'm liking a lot of what AEW's been doing, and I don't know if you saw the last pay-per-view, like the Double or Nothing pay-per-view show was like incredible. Like it was really good. Like that Okada versus Takeshita match was incredible at Double or Nothing.
I heard good things about that one.
That was like the match of the year. Although I heard that like I haven't watched it yet, but that AAA match with the Americanos, that was apparently a really good match. So that's the thing with wrestling. There's so much to watch. So that's why I find it hard to like make it through SmackDown, like when I know there's so much other great stuff to watch, or make it through Raw. But yeah, I still love WWE. I watch all sorts of wrestling, but I kind of, if I have the time, I prefer to watch AEW, just because I think they have, like, it's more entertaining to me anyway. But I totally get why, like, WWE has probably better star power and better production. Like their production, that's one of the things I love about WWE is their production. Like they make everything look amazing. So, but I just kind of like AEW's wrestling style and the variety of talents they have. And yeah, but I love all wrestling. So I could talk about wrestling for like days. I talk about it too much.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Paige coming back? That, I'll admit, that kind of surprised me.
Yeah. Did you see any of her stuff in AEW?
I did. I was actually a big fan of hers in AEW. I thought she kind of got the short end of the stick with her title run. I thought it should have been a lot longer. Yeah. And I also felt like it was kind of forced, because, they were in London. They were at All In. I was like, don't do it for that. Just, this girl's gone through everything. Yeah. And you're just putting the title on her because it's, just for that cheap pop in London. Totally. Yeah. I do wish her run was a lot longer in AEW. I did like some of the stuff she did with, Harley Cameron and Ruby Soho. Yeah. Loved it. And I've been a big fan of Paige's for years. I've always been a fan of hers. So I'm glad that she's back in WWE and whatnot. But I'll admit, I was a little surprised that they
haven't really done a lot. I'm with you. Like, to me anyway, she's a huge star. Like, she's basically like when they remade the women's division, like she was like the face of like she brought actual serious women's wrestling back for WWE. So yeah, and they just haven't really done a lot with her. I don't know. She's in the tag team, right? That's basically all she's doing. Yeah. I'm with you. I liked her AEW run. I thought though near the end she kind of like, I don't know, her in-ring kind of fell off near the end, like, and she just like disappeared, that's what happens to people in AEW. They just disappeared for months at a time. But yeah, she kind of fell off a bit in my opinion. But I am a huge fan of hers too. Like it's funny story. I was in New Orleans for WrestleMania 2018, and we were just at some random bar and bumped into her and a few of the other wrestlers just at this bar, and I got a picture with her. It was pretty cool. So yeah, she's cool. But I just, in WWE too, I don't like the way they script the women. Like the women just all sound the same. And at least in AEW, like I know she had some pretty rough promos in AEW from what I remember, but at least it sounded like she doesn't sound scripted in AEW. In WWE, I don't know, they just sound like, I don't like the way they make the women sound. Like the women are all catty and they all hate each other and I don't know. So, but yeah, but as far as like an actual character and a wrestler go, I'm a fan of hers. But I actually have her book. I just got her book for Christmas. I'm gonna read it here sometime later this summer. So I'm interested to read that. But I think they could be doing a lot more with her, and I wish they would have made her return a bigger deal, because to me it's a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Instead of sticking her in a tag team with Brie.
Yeah,
I get it. They're champions right now, but Paige is a solo star. She should be doing things on her own.
Yeah, well, I don't trust the WWE with tag teams at all. That's the other thing. They don't know how to book them, and women, men, whatever. Tag teams die there.
Yeah, I mean, they signed Motor City Machine Guns and did absolutely nothing with them. I mean, sure, they got a tag title run. That's cool on a resume, but they did nothing with them.
Yeah, that was so disappointing.
And I love those guys.
I know, me too. Yeah, no, I'm glad they got like a WWE run, because they deserve it. They've been awesome for so many years. Yeah. But again, they did nothing with them really. Very little.
Yeah, and lots of retirements, at least WWE wise. With Cena, AJ. Yeah. I was pretty broken up about AJ because I'm a big AJ Styles guy. Yeah, I've been a fan of his since his TNA days.
Yeah.
So I was pretty broken up about that. The Brock Lesnar retirement. I didn't care.
Yeah.
Clearly, that was.
He's still retired, according to Paul Heyman, right? He's just wrestling some more, but he's still retired, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, like I'm a big Gunther fan, but then I guess he just lost recently to Cody or something. It sounded like a lame finish. So I don't know. I didn't like that whole Cena thing. I thought that was kind of, I don't know. I would just let the guy win. I don't understand why he had to lose, and then Gunther loses to a bunch of other people after that. So yeah, I thought the AJ Styles retirement was not bad. Like I thought that was pretty good. But Cena's thing was just then the heel turn that was involved in there. That was a mess. That entire year was just like, it was weird.
Can blame The Rock for that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think Cena should stand up for himself. Like, this sounds stupid. He can do what he wants to, but yeah, it was a mess. That was disappointing. And then, although they made up for it with that, I think it was a SummerSlam match, right? With Cody and Cena. That was an awesome match. Like, that was one of the better matches, WWE matches of the year. But that WrestleMania match was horrible.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned WrestleMania. You mentioned going to the one in New Orleans. Was that 33?
34.
Oh, 34.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was at the one 2 years before that in Dallas at 32.
Nice.
Yeah, my, I guess girlfriend at the time, her family, we were like, we're going out to WrestleMania. We want you to come along. I was like, okay, cool, sweet. Let's go. And yeah, it was a great experience. My first, she likes to brag. She's gone to 2 WrestleManias. She went to 30 and 32.
Nice.
30 was also in New Orleans as well.
Yep.
So, and then I actually ended up proposing to her the night of the Hall of Fame ceremony. So that made it a little bit more special.
Oh, wow.
And then we went and saw the Hall of Fame, watched Sting get inducted into the Hall of Fame. That was big for me
Oh,
because
wow.
I've been
Yeah.
a big Sting guy. Even
Yeah.
his AEW run, I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I did like his WWE run, but I thought it was not handled properly. Like,
You didn't like
speaking of,
Triple H? Yeah, you didn't like Triple H beating him?
no, I think Sting. I still think Sting should have gone over on Triple H on that.
Yeah, no
I liked
shit.
it at the beginning, and then it
Yeah.
felt kind of goofy towards the end. You know, his stuff with Seth was like very,
Yeah.
very goofy, and I was like, that's not Sting.
Wow, it's like with Triple H winning, especially. It's just
No.
WWE has to be better than WCW, even though the company's been dead for like 20 years. It's like we gotta beat WCW again. I hated that. I hated that whole thing. It was stupid.
And then they added in, NWO into it.
Who Sting is not friends with.
Yeah.
That was his enemy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was who he was against. And then the whole DX thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I absolutely loved DX back in the day, especially when it was just Hunter and Sean. I thought that was some great, comedy and whatnot. But, WrestleMania 32, got to see him inducted. I can't remember who I all met at Access. Unfortunately, was not able to meet Paige as her lineup was so long.
Yeah.
And they ended up actually cutting it off. But just that experience of, Access, I got to shake Sheamus's hand, I think, during one of the matches that they had at Access. Very clammy hand that I shook.
That's cool.
And that was great.
Yeah, it's smart that I'm so glad I went when I went because, like, have you seen the friggin' prices for the WrestleMania now?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's unaffordable now. So, I'm pretty sure if they keep these prices the way they are, like, I'm never going to go back again just because it's ridiculous. You can't, I can't justify. I love wrestling, but I can't justify spending that much for wrestling.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. I guess we'll end off with this question. I asked this of every guest that I have on. What are 3 things that you're grateful for?
Oh, wow. That's a deep one. Wrestling? No, just kidding. I guess hopefully my wife sees this. I guess I'd be grateful for her, grateful for my wife, grateful for my daughter who's 3. She's turning 4 in September. And I guess just to bring it all full circle, I guess I'm grateful just to have this job right now, especially it's a challenging industry. It's tough to keep a job and stay employed in journalism. And I've been very fortunate. Like it's not just because I'm like so talented, because I am, but no, just kidding. But it's I've been fortunate. I've been lucky. There's all sorts of layoffs all the time. It's a really tough, challenging industry to stay employed in and stay on top of everything. And I've been fortunate to be in a good spot and work with good people and manage to remain employed and still get to have fun all the time at work. So I'm really fortunate for that.
Amazing. Well, this has been absolutely amazing. Ben, fun. This has been great.
We'll have to do it again. The invite's always open. Let me know.
Definitely, for sure. Hopefully we'll get into more Abby stuff, once the season starts. And obviously, we'll know what happens in a few weeks with the draft and whether or not Caleb will actually be a Canuck or not, or if they go, either off the board or if they go Chase Reed. But like I said, this has been awesome. Really appreciate it. You giving the time. And definitely we'll have you on again for sure.
Thanks again. Always good to talk to you. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks again.
All right. Thanks, Ben. All right. That was Ben Lykpa from the Abby News. You guys I have his social media in the description down below. You guys can check him out. Before I sign off, a reminder or a message from our friends over at DraftKings. It all comes down to this: a best-of-7 battle, and DraftKings has you covered every step of the way. The DraftKings Sports app is now available in all 50 states and includes all markets. Sweat every shift of the series all in one place with one app. New DraftKings customers sign up with code THPN, spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That's code THPN in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Bet with DK Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas. Bet text pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Void in Ontario. Event contract trading with DraftKings predictions involves risk of loss. Sportsbook bonus bets expire in 7 days. $50 in predictions dollars issued weekly for 3 weeks expire in 1 year. Redeem one non-withdrawable reward. Availability varies. Predictions offer void in New York. Ends June 28. Terms at dkng.co/audio.
If you guys enjoyed this interview, on your way out, you can like the video and subscribe to The Line Change for more Canucks and draft-related content. You can also become a member, as I said earlier, to receive exclusive perks, members-only videos, as well as behind-the-scenes and early access to videos like the one you just saw. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.